Okay, welcome back. This is going to be about the elevator push rod. Putting the elevator control horn is exactly the same as we did on the rudder, so I'm not going to repeat that. So the elevator control horn is already in place, and I even did the hot melt glue on top, and the push rod is already in, and I prepared the push rod the same way with the clevis, and the push rod is already in down there, and actually I already have the radio on and the receiver on with the elevator servo plugged in, so that is definitely centered. I have my stick here holding the elevator neutral, and I actually took the piece of push rod that I cut off, and I have it under there because it wasn't holding it exactly centered. So what I'm doing is I take my ruler and lay it on here and make sure that that is nice and level, and that is absolutely level, which is what you want. And so everything's set on the back end here, nice and level. Push rod is in place. The clevis was wound in the same way as I did on the rudder. So now all I have to do, now that everything is centered, the arm here is centered, I'm going to go ahead and mark with my gold Sharpie marker right where that needs a Z-bend. Okay, so now that that's marked, I will turn the receiver off, turn the radio off, take off my little device for jig, I call them, jigs up, jigs off, and now I'm going to turn this over. You unplug the receiver, turn this over, and there we go. And in order to get the clevis off, you have to sort of tilt this down and then take off the clevis, okay, and then pull out the push rod. Okay, so now that can just sort of sit right there for a minute. Okay, so the push rod has a gold Sharpie marker right there where my thumb is. Okay, and remembering that you only get one shot at this. If you screw this up, then you have to get another push rod. Whereas the other one, if you screw it up before you cut it, you still got an inch to play with. But I think I'm in good shape, so I'm going to go ahead and do my Z-bend. Now I'm using the Great Plains Z-bending tool, and I'm going to find my gold Sharpie mark, and I'm going to put that gold Sharpie mark, open up the Z-bending tool, I'm going to put the gold Sharpie mark right on the place where the Z-bend starts. Okay, so you can see that or not. So the Z-bend is going to start right there where that gold Sharpie mark is. Let me get it lined exactly where I want it, and that should be right there. Now remember, any final adjustment can be made with the clevis. And here we go. bend. Okay. So now that's a nice square, as you can see, that's a nice square Z-bend. And you can see it started right where the gold Sharpie mark was. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So I can put it into the control arm. So I'm going to leave about a 1/4 of an inch and cut that off. Okay. Now, the only way to get this back in, now that you got the Z-bend, is take this clevis off. Okay. Take the nut off. I drop the clevis on the floor. I'll get it in a second. Okay. And push the turn the airplane back over. So that I can remove the control arm, or the servo arm. So take the arm off the servo. Without dropping the screw and without dropping the arm. Okay. And now, now that that's cut, remember that this hole in this arm isn't going to be big enough, but I've got a special drill for that. So this servo arm drill is it's a Hobbyco servo arm drill. I'm going to drill out the first hole. I like the first hole because it's adjustable. And now I got to put this, I want the Z-bend on top and going down. So, and I want this rough side of the arm to go down, and then the arm goes that way. So it's going to go this way and then Z-bend that way. And so that's how it's going to sit in there like that with the rough side down. All right, now that we've got the threads off over here, we can feed this in from here. Get it into the tube, feed this all the way in, and I'm feeding it all the way from with the hatch off, feeding it through the hatch. I guess you can't see that. Okay. And now I'm going to get the servo arm back on and screwed in. And I can adjust the length at this point, but I think that adjustment is going to be as far extended out as possible. Okay, that arm's back on good and tight. Now I'm going to find the elevator servo wire, plug it back into the elevator channel of the receiver, turn on the airplane, and everything's is good to go. Turn on the radio. I mean, the radio's on, turn on the receiver. So the radio's on, turning the receiver on. Arm is centered. And sticking out the back here. So now, I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to turn the airplane over and turn the radio off so I can actually screw the clevis back on. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so what I had to do was remove the arm off the elevator servo so that I could pull the push rod all the way out here. You can see the push rod is right there, and I've already screwed the clevis back on it. Now I can push that back in place and get the arm back up here where it's going to go. And actually, before I put that in place, I'm going to tilt this up and connect the clevis to the control horn. Well, because it has to sort of stick out a little bit so you can get to it. And flat-bladed screwdriver is the only way to do this. Alright, so that's in place. I'm not going to put the rubber or the silicone tubing in place yet, because I don't know that we are actually exactly where we want it yet. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and screw the servo arm back on and get it where I want it. Now that that's back on, I can turn the radio back on. Make sure the rudder, the elevator servo is plugged into the elevator channel. Okay, and turn on the receiver. Radio is on. Receiver is now on. Okay, and elevator arm is working. Okay, and let's see how close I came. So the moment of truth is now upon us. I'm going to move the airplane up a little further so you can see better. And so let's see how I did. Oh, I don't believe it. Am I lucky or what? Okay, that is absolutely dead level. I figured I was going to have to adjust it 3 or 4 times, because basically what you have to do at this point is adjust that clevis in and out, you know, half a turn, 1 turn, maybe 1.5 turns, not very much, 1.5, maybe 2 turns, but I just eyeballed it where I thought it was, and that is good. Even on the bottom, looks good. So that is nice and flat with a little ruler. And so let's test it out. So here we go. Elevator up. Airplane's going up. You can see I'm pulling the stick back, making the airplane go up. And now it's going down and up. and down and up and down. So we're good to go. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.